Nothing ever goes wrong on stream ever. But yeah, if you're the type of person who's interested in like cyberpunk type futures with like a dash of mysticism and like Eastern flair, also seeing like 12 idiots survive across the city. I like this style of gacha where you stick with one main cast so that you can like see them grow and change over time rather than just throwing like 50 billion people at you. It lets you like, especially when you go over from the start, lets you see like how each of the characters have changed over time, and it's nice. Every now and then I keep thinking that Limbus company is becoming more mainstream, but then I realize that like the revenue numbers of it is not like improving, and also like half of the fan base was introduced to Limbus company through Roblox. Fucking zoomer ass memes. Okay, game. What are you doing? You love car development. Is that why the fan song you brought up, you saw brought up Roblox? Yes. Yes. Absolutely, why? Because one of the big Roblox fighting games developer is also like a Library of Ruina fan. So he added in Jibura and Roland's moveset into it. And now a lot of people unironically say, is that the Black Silence from Roblox? And it fucking kills me because of that. They know Roland from fucking Roblox. He doesn't even do the this is this and that is that. Terry Bogard from Smash Energy. Yep. But we're getting a new King of Fighters soon, aren't we? No, wait. For this one, we should go about it like... No, Heathcliff's been on Vanguard for too long. I should put him back and let him... Dante. What? Oh, sorry. Did you say something? I provided you an answer to your question. We exhibited no observable response. Is the Sinner's combat performance deteriorating beyond manageable parameters? No, things aren't that bad, but just hard to focus on one conversation when I'm trying to support battles happening in completely different places at once. On top of that, Rhodia's shopping chatter is starting to get a little distracting. Wait, Dante can just spy on the Sinners now? Also, what do you mean that there's a combat going on at the same time? A few days after we entered Encore's district, the bus pulled over to the back streets of Encore to take care of a distortion case. This contract was supposed to be handled jointly over the LCD team, but distortion suddenly started cropping all over an area of the back streets called Butter Street without a coherent pattern. No obvious points of origin or routes of spread. That's convenient like that. And no choice but to split the sinners into several groups and send them out. Otis, Ishmael, Sinclair, Don Quixote, Yiseng, and Marcel were on their way to rendezvous with the LCD team. Heathcliff, Gregor, and Hong Lu were suppressing distortions that had showed up on the other directions. And with our onboard stock scraped to the bottom, Rodi and Ryoshu, who were done with their share of the suppression work, were put in charge of buying supplies for the bus. And as for Faust, she decided to stay behind with me on the bus. I had to get through the consultation sessions I've been putting off, and I thought I might as well give myself some much needed practice of handling the new golden bowl power I've acquired. To reiterate, there are no issues requiring special concern regarding Faust. It is true that Faust has, on several recent occasions, expressed dissatisfaction with a certain Faust. However, those instances should be classified as mere personal grievances. I mean, that's good if that's all there is to it, but this is not the first time Faust had seemed unlike herself. There have been times before when she spent far longer alone than usual, lost in thought, moments where she could not produce immediate answers to questions from the other sinners or me. Could it be? You can't access the Gesellschaft? Gesellschaft? May I ask your basis for that inference? Cause you're acting a lot like you did back on the warp train. It appears there remains occasions in which you are still capable of surprising Faust, Dante. So I was right? You really are cut off from the Gesellschaft? How do you pronounce that? How do you pronounce that? I feel like that's going to be important in the future to learn how to pronounce that. Gesellschaft. Gesellschaft. That was not intended as confirmation of your conjecture. Maybe she's saying that while she can technically access the Gesellschaft, it might as well be that she can't. I wish I could ask more and get to the bottom of it, but the way she was sidestepping the subject told me that prying wouldn't give me much of any further insight. Right, I won't press you if you don't want to talk about it. Your reserve is appreciated. Gesellschaft. Yeah, it also means company. The Faust company. Shall we move on? Yes, your consultation is the next agenda. After cross-referencing the records pertaining to the recent events in the House of Spiders, it appears that memories concerning the individuals designated as Sor and Ren currently only remain with you, Dante. As such, should the influence of Ryoshu and her sword lead to further omissions in the official records, the manager will be responsible for supplementing the necessary information. Yeah, not the first time I was the only one left with intact memories, huh? That's right, and despite K-Core's memory wipe procedures, Catherine's erasure by the Golden Bowl's power, and Arya Shiki severing people from existence, I was the only one who remembered what had transpired. But ironically enough, the memories I had prior to swapping my head with this clock still showed no signs of returning. Why won't my old memories come back though? Is it because of this clock head? Speculation based on your experiences with the bus team thus far will not meaningfully contribute to the recovery of your former memories, Manager. Inductive reasoning conducted from memories of gaps, after all, is bound to have structural limitations. Bongi would serve as an adequate analogy. Bongi? Why would we bring up Bongi? Yes, Bongi. Receiving feed increasing in body mass alone will provide it with no meaningful basis for identifying the purpose of its veering. Even at the terminal stage, when exposed to kitchen instruments and the heat of the stove, its limited experience will provide inadequate to constitute an understanding of its ultimate fates and purpose. Likewise, the ultimate answer to your doubts can only be obtained from the whole of the experience that you will have accumulated at the terminus of your entire journey. That is, your allotted mission. Because treasure awaits at the end of the road, at the end of hell. And that treasure will give me back my memories in my head. Also, indeed, at the end of the road, you will be able to engrave your aspect. Still have no idea exactly what aspect means, or even whether it's an object. But I do know one thing. It's that the me from before all of this began had wanted it badly. Obsessively, desperately. It's more like an instinctive knowledge, but with my memory's gone. And that feeling, however strong it is, does not change the fact that it's just an error word with no discernible mental image. And you're not going to tell me what it actually is, are you? In the aspect? What it means or why I wanted it so much? If it remains a piece of information that must be disclosed to you, then no. I'm unable to tell you. Pay no mind, you're still following your star acceptably. Please concentrate on that journey. More importantly, have you grown accustomed to the incomplete power? Current observations suggest that you have yet to arrive at that level. Well, I've gotten pretty used to focusing on one place at a time, but keeping track of several places at once is still a bit rough. Otis's team is doing well in combat, even without my direct supervision. Rodio's team is shopping and not engaged in battle at the moment. Taking my mind off of them would prove much easier, but that wouldn't give me the much needed practice, so I'm doing my best to keep an eye on every sinner status. Sufficient familiarity should result in substantial technical value. You'll be able to cast a wider net when information gathering and employing previously unavailable tactic patterns. Right. And I'd also be able to tell when is a bad time to call someone in too. Yeah, this must be new because during the last event they didn't know when was a good time to call people in. That's why Honglu hit his head like 3 times. Even as I continued talking with Faust, I made sure not to stop observing the places where each of the group is and what they're doing. Yep, pulling Heathcliff to the rear was the right call. I don't see any injuries, his team's still doing pretty well even without my directions. As for Rhodia, wait, did she just stuff all those pastries and bread she bought into her pockets? How did she even manage with that huge baguette? Dante practicing so they don't send people into inconvenient coma. I mean, Rhodia was complaining that she fell into a bowl of cream and almost drowned, even though she got cream pied. A face full of cream. In Otis's group, let's see. Looks like they're joining up with the LCD team without any issues. LCD, then that guy over there must be... Hang on. There's a dude I've seen before, but seems a bit different from what I remember. I think you do it. It's just that they couldn't focus more on one spot because they saw Sinclair manifesting a sign. I think that is Dante focusing. Oh yeah, you're right. Like focusing one at a time. Yeah, you're right because he saw Certus Sinclair. Could you specify the issue? I'm monitoring the situation right now. We should probably join up with them too. Let's end this consultation here. This is rather precipitous, Dante. If the incident is of a serious nature, perhaps a request for support from the LCC. No, it's not an incident. Though, I wouldn't say it's not serious. Did Dante see what I saw and also go, what the fuck, put the hat back on? It's going from bad to worse, really. Dante seems to be tied up helping the other groups. Otis's command calls have been working out well enough, I'll give her that. We've managed to hold the line better than expected. But we're definitely starting to feel the strain. I thought Ishmael was usually the shot caller. Why are you waving your hand all about arm and hand signals? What signals? What's swinging the arm sideways even supposed to mean? You don't know. It's scatter, damn it. So scatter. Crash. That was close. We almost got flattened. Damn it. Even rookies with nothing but the most rudimentary of military training would have recognized the hand signal that basic. Oh, we're not all trained soldiers here, are we? Verily, that flourish of a single hand doth makes for the boast of chivalric elegance. Yet when thou suddenly wavest thy arm about, clenching and unclenching thy hand in the mystical fashion, only to suddenly turn tail, forsooth, I am left bereft of understanding what thou meanest to say. To think that all the personnel on my team, only the swabby has the discipline to interpret a basic field signal. I only picked it up during my sailing days, and realistically speaking, did you really expect ordinary people like the others to suddenly understand professional military signals? This is unacceptable. After all the operations you've been deployed under my lead, you're all still ignorant when it comes to nonverbal signals. You think they'd practice this on the bus at some point? I think the issue is that no one ever listens to Otis, because she usually gets them killed, and Dante's usually there to give orders. So, like, why bother learning? I don't even think Dante would know those signals. Yep, might as well be splitting hairs, literally. Let us appease our agitated hearts and follow Miss Otis's instructions. We should disperse and withdraw. Megaton landing! Hey, pretty cool, huh? Let's face it, I know how to make one heck of an entrance. Whoa, aren't you supposed to be cleaning up the distortions upstairs? Oh, didn't you tell a million years ago? You guys were taking forever, so I figured I'd take a peek and lend a hand. You're welcome. Split by your thundering descent. The floor's form and shape are now crushed beyond mending, sunken deep enough to be likened to the incipience of a wellspring. Don't you worry your head about it. That's all after teams to take care of. Anyway, that should be all of them, right? The force of your landing neutralized the last of the distortions outside the building. Great. Can you check on the distorted peeps' faces and clothes? Their faces all segmented? Ugh, makes my skin crawl. Not a pleasant sight. As for their attire... This one doth appear to be a sweeper. And that one yonder bears the attire of an ordinary fixer. Sweepers can distort? I know they're still humans, but... okay. I want to see a distorted sweeper. In this distortion, I landed on probably a local resident, judging by the clothes. Did any of you happen to see anything nearby bursting with a big pop and flash? Nay, not once. Okie dokie. You know what you know what? And then let's all head upstairs. The suppression request is kind of a pain. We need to put together a nice, neat plan before we start poking it too hard. A plan, sayest thou? How was this not a mere matter of slaying distortions where they stand? Huh? Wait, nobody briefed you? This has often been the structure of our assignments. We were given instructions, we performed then, and only afterwards do we begin to perceive the nature and contour of the task to which we have been committed our hands. That seems like bad management, not gonna lie. Really? Huh. Well, I guess every department has its own way of doing things. No big deal, I'll explain everything once we're upstairs. Oh, by the way, you didn't get to meet the whole team last time, did you? Only our new girl. And this time, that dude, Mr. Bamboo Headed Kim's also here, so... Huh? He's okay now? Sure he is. He'll be surprised when you see just how okay he is. But last time you said he was still under treatment. To be precise, I believe Miss Angdu stated that his mind is set to regain its former tranquility. That... You'll get it once you see him. I feel like we'll just end up having the same conversation twice if I say anything about it now. Creak. You've arrived. It's so blinding. So bright. The midday sun is pouring in like crazy. And a warm trickle of the sunbeam is rather agreeable. No, this is not sunlight. Because unlike this, there is more to sunshine than its warmth. Then, what exactly is this light? Why is this thing on again? It's bright enough to fry my eyeballs. Apologies, Lady Ezra, I'm yet unaccustomed to this machine. It's my first time laying a hand upon complicated workings of such a contraption. It activated of its own accord, and I've yet to discover the method by which it may be silenced. That's why I told you to leave it alone. Fiddling with things you don't understand usually ends with something, or you, broken. Nothing good comes of it, I tell you. But, Mentor, Lady Moses has instructed me that every moment in an event, clues are hidden under veil of one's surrounding and must be examined with care. Yes, and that only works if you're savvy about the knack. Hang on, did you just say mentor? I had not been afforded a proper opportunity to introduce him to you. This here is a esteemed leader of the Blade lineage who is still but a master whom I've apprenticed. Do you really have to dress up like that? I told you I only took on the role because there wasn't anyone else to take the job. Switch. Where is the switch? Gotcha. Oh, wait, what's going on here? Goodness. Known as Bamboo Headed Kim. Wait, is that a Kovrak? Is that a Kovrak? And that's Kim hanging out in the... Oh my god, that's such a good setup for a joke. Holy shit. I really like that. That's actually a pretty good setup. Yeah, that's me. I guess I should say, pleased to meet you folks. Damn, you're not wearing your employee badge. That's, you're gonna get in trouble for that. How do you get the announcer? Is that from Gacha or is it from the event? Because I want to know what he sounds like. Okay, so... Polls? More often than not, first impressions are prone to change. The Bamboo Headed Kim, I remember, was a man who drowned his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness with a listless, heavy voice. Actually, let me look up on YouTube. I want to see what he sounds like. There's no YouTube of the. There's no video of the announcers. I want to hear his voice. Wow, no one has Oh wait, now I found it. Wow, YouTube's algorithm is useless. Okay, I kind of got a feel for what he sounds like now. Bamboo Headed Kim, I remember, was a man who drowned in his own fathoms, blaming himself for his powerlessness with a listless, heavy voice. Yeah, I'm waiting to extract on that ego. That, however, had been while he was distorted and sunken into himself, so I figured his original personality might be somewhat different. But this is not just somewhat. His personality is even in the same ballpark as what I expected. Dante, this is what we call gap moe. This is like the extreme gap moe. You're telling me this guy here is bamboo-headed Kim? Yep, we double-checked with Ezra, and she really said he's the same guy. Whoa, that fire in your head's not hot at all. Fascinating. Can you... Okay, can we check again? Just in case. I really can't wrap my head around the fact that this is the sullen, serious man we'd fought. Just look at what he's doing. He's rubbing my face all over like he's checking out some kind of mantelpiece ornament. Lots of ticking talking going on. That's supposed to sound like talking to you folks, huh? Further confirmation would be redundant, Dante. This individual is conclusively identified as the one designated as bamboo-headed Kim. I've got no idea why you folks are so suspicious about. Dude, just what exactly I've been telling people out there about me? They're all staring at me like I've seen a ghost. I told them you're a gallant and formidable warrior, mentor. But they don't look like they heard the most flattering things about me. There, don't you hear it? That fading undercurrent of disappointment and that ticking. I can even tell personalities from or tonal meanings from Dante. I also told him that you're a man of few words, but with much affection for the followers under your command. Dude. Yes, mentor? That's a complete and utter lie. Man, a few words is definitely not something you can say about a guy who's as talkative as me, don't you think? I was not expecting him to be be a chatterbox, and yeah, he's really saying, please stop glazing me. Yet I spoke no falsehood. Although your conduct is rather shallow and perhaps less refined for a leader of an organization, you're much more reserved and tactful when conversing with those unfamiliar to you. Are you not? Isn't that just mean that he's shy? No matter who one may be, one is bound to inspire either approval or disapproval from those around him. So I refrain from mentioning any truths that may invite the latter. To even hint at anything that might tarnish your reputation my master would be unlike spitting on his name, and mine by extension. She lied as easily as she breathed. I simply had no reason to put on airs in front of my own folks. Anyway. Oh, so I can't see anything if I blocked this part, hmm? Do tell, how many fingers am I holding up? Look at that shit-face eating grin. Look at that shit-face eating grin. I like that. Those are not my eyes, you know. Your own folks, huh? They've already acknowledged and accepted that you now belong to the Limbus company. Why dost thou not pay a visit to the LCE? Verily, when one minds of is plagued by the absence of tranquility, venturing forth into the open air and touching field in a grass clear of the storm of the heart. Don Quixote, touch grass. Thou should go out and touch thy grass. An asset of the company is expected to act in the company's interest. Yet for whatever reason, I don't see you fighting in the field during battle Operation Spider Pyre. You'll have to account for your absence in that mission. Otis addressed Kim as though she was conducting a formal investigation, every word flat and hard. It was obvious she was not about to let her guard down soon. A third smug Catherine has hit Limbus Tower. I need to figure out, yeah, I'll add it as a sticker later. I just need to figure out what kind of, what to subtitle it as. What mission? Oh, that one. Kim finally seemed inclined to assume a more serious disposition. He stopped peering into my face and turned towards Otis, although his hand was still on my head. Alright, clearly there's some disconnect in expectations here. Listen here, you. I'm really not all about that hard, bothersome work. Get what I mean? How did he become the leader of the Blade lineage? Wait, are the Blade lineage a syndicate or are they a fixer group? Blade lineage. They're a syndicate, okay. I was about to say, a fixer group should have like organization and taxation and, you know, dealing with the Honda Association, but yeah. Yeah, he's just like the de facto leader, isn't he? The real disconnect was between a stoic expression and the words coming out of his mouth. What? So, let's talk about the kind of fellow I am. Meet the resident layabout who's forced about to do his job with a frown too, I might add. Only when he's got absolutely no other choice. I'm really not some kind of big shot on who's apparently been promoting it as us folks. I'd very much like to stop getting roped into stuff that keeps putting my life on the line. Fine, then why did you join the LCD in the first place if you'd rather be unemployed? No, never mind. They probably forced you to stay. You catch on quick. First they sprout this nonsense about distortions and all, then force hired me, called me a company-owned resources or whatever. And the other day they were again on about, what's his name? Golden Bow. Yeah, they invited me a tour to their department to listen to some important presentations. And I accepted, though I thought it would be a fine opportunity to broaden my perspective. Dude, dear, there are times when your commitment to duty shines brighter than the sun. I find that attitude so dazzling that I have to squint when I'm looking at you. Who knows? Maybe that's why I'm wearing the bamboo hat. Shade my eyes from your utter brilliance. Look at this smooth talker. Do you mean to say that you're in need of a shield to protect your eyes? Hey, Ezra, may I submit a request for a pair of sunglasses for my mentor? Only if it's not too much of an imposition on the budget, that is. Can you imagine Bamboo had a Kim with sunglasses? Also, look at that face. Look at what the expression on his face he's making right now. I need to figure out how to like add a zoom in function on OBS. Like, this is a perfect time to zoom in function OBS. Okay. Fuck. Okay, I don't have time to watch this tutorial. I'll figure it out later. That right there, and that's what I keep telling you not to do. You can't just say yes to every silly thing he says and turn it into a supply request. Small expenses add up to a lot, you know. You gotta save up everything you can put in a piggy bank while you still can, or you'll end up broke. I love how he's just like making these stupid expressions in the back. Oh wait, there is a zoom into mouse. Okay, okay. How do I do this? Wait, crap. Never mind. Fine. Fine. Figure out later. No means no. Then pray make that purchase for me. I shall cover the cost myself. No, wait, what? My poor mentor is in a state of great discomfort. Yet I possess neither the wisdom nor the knowledge to navigate the silver tongue of merchants and the maze of stalls to locate the very best item. So I must beg this favor of you. You're giving me a friggin' headache, girl. I'm aware that you and yours are no strangers to such dealings. There's no one else I could trust as completes such a procurement with the swiftness of the wind. You know what? Never mind what I said. Just get what you want. You heard it, gentle lady, mentor. Your suffering shall soon be alleviated. Right. My apologies for interrupting you amid conversation. Pray continue. You had reached the part where they invited you to tour another department. No sooner Angdu's words left her lips than her eyes glistened with something I could not really put my finger on. It was a strange intensity that sent a chill down my spine. Angdu's a little intense, isn't she? Right. So yeah, that day I was just gonna relax here, watch some TV, and good on you for showing up to work today, I guess. It's literally clocking in. That's just it. Let's say there's a debt to be repaid. Wait. Ah, crap. Okay, never mind. At least you understand that we are indeed indebted to the company. Yeah, I suppose I do. Kim's gaze lingered on Angdu's prosthetic arms as he answered. Oh, Miss Angdu, your arms. Only after following Kim's gaze did Sinclair seem to notice Angdu's brand new prosthetic arms. The last time we saw her, Angdu had lost both her arms, and I remember Ezra asking her to sit tight and choose what type of prosthesis she wanted. Those arms were probably it. It's not just the arms. Even her clothes are different now, and that sword. I had these arms fitted anew as soon as the operation was concluded. The gracious host and one of the LCD teams had prepared them in advance. With evident satisfaction, Angdu held up her dark metallic wrists as if to showcase them. The components fixed along her arms clicked and rattled, unfolding for a moment before neatly folding back into place. Oh, such graceful smoothness, wed to machine articulation. 'Tis as though I'm beholding the marvelous prostheses of the illustrious Siegfried himself. Yep, and the showcase will have gone lackluster about the trademark reaction. Those are strikingly similar to the Schwartz Industries and VII lineup, but I thought that model was discontinued. I forgot Sinclair's family worked in the prostheses business, so he would know. Nah, not theirs. This is one of the prototypes developed by the LCD's Phenomena Deciphering team, and I put them on Earth for a trial. Now you'll find another one like them, and they're based on technology spun from distortions. Oh, I see. For a brief moment, Sinclair's eyes lit up as if he glimpsed something that brought him back to a memory. Then just as quickly, he fell silent, whatever he wanted to say catching in his chest. Poor Sinclair. A brief moment of happiness dashed by the weight of reality. And does something trouble you, Master Sinclair? It wasn't hard to understand what struck that tender memory for Sinclair, and why it cast a shadow over his face. But... sorry, just reminded something from a long time ago. My dad used to work with prostheses before he passed away. He thought it was his exact same model I saw back then. It appears I lacked tact, and then these arms stirred a painful memory within you. For that, I apologize. It's alright, I'm fine now. Sinclair's voice still carried a faint tremor, but beneath it there was a firmness that had not been there before. He really had grown a great deal. You can thank yours truly for picking the sword. I was there with her. I did inform Lady Ezra that any blade that could serve as a weapon would suffice, but she insisted on browsing the goods. I dare say I was given the opportunity to lay my eyes on every type of sword I could ever hope to see in this life, walking through the workshop street that day. Oh, please, girl, we just walked for 4 hours, and that's nothing. Okay. It might have been a generational aura loss, but like, I'm back to liking Bamboo Hatted Kim again. I like his stupid faces. While everyone was distracted by taking Ongda's new outfit and equipment, Kim had quietly slipped away in the crowd and crouched in a corner. He was rummaging through things scattered on the floor, picking them up, and... is he pocketing them? Anyway, what is this place supposed to be? What are all these things? Is he looting? Is Bamboo Hatted Kim looting? It's basically a wreck now, but there are these strobes and cloth backdrop over there. Maybe it used to be a photo shoot. Someone described him as an Ace Attorney character. Oh my god. He is an Ace Attorney background character. That's so funny. Well, that could explain why there are so many photos stuck around this place. Probably? It looks like a camera, at least. Sinclair picked up a small cylindrical object and turned it over in his hand, suddenly out of curiosity. What do you suppose this is? A battery, maybe? There's some kind of strip inside. Let me just pull it out. No, that's... Otis shouted a sharp warning at Sinclair as if she had realized something. But Mersault's hand shot out before she could even finish, clasping over Sinclair's wrist before the strip could be pulled out. What? What did I do? Exposure to sunlight damages these objects. I pulled out a little bit out though. It can be rewound. Carefully rotate the ridge section on top of the cylinder. I'm currently blocking sunlight from reaching the exposed section. Damage is of no concern. Okay. You mentioned this one, right? The part that rotates? Yep. It went back in. With a quiet nod, Mersault took the object from Sinclair's hand. Seems to be a film roll. There's something written on the outside. Experiment number 4. It appears to be a compact roll for a film camera. You seem to have handled one before. Yes. Mersault's answer came out without any further explanation, but the way he adjusted the camera on the table certainly doesn't look like a first-timer. I once received a report containing photographs taken on film cameras during the war. Filmed rolls used by NCOR are particularly difficult to falsify. They're often used to collect intelligence during secret operations. The film fixes light directly onto the medium from what I've been heard. A peculiar expression crosses across Ezra's face as she regarded Otis. Perhaps it was a mention of the war that caught her attention. Anyway, we've managed to regroup in one piece. Let's come up with a plan to deal with these distortions, guys. Where should we begin? And then in the next breath, she returned to her usual bubbly self and steered the conversation away from the subject. Both Ezra and I, we're both still trying to be free of the misconceptions we inflicted on ourselves. For all of her unfailingly perky disposition, Ezra too may be carrying traumatic memories every bit as devastating as Gregor's. Does there yet remain aught deserving illumination? Huh? Yeah, wait, you're right. Haven't we cleaned up the distortion already? I couldn't feel any more traces of distortions nearby. It doesn't seem like any of the other sinners teams anywhere were actively engaged in the moments either. Dante is asking whether distortion suppression has not, in fact, already been concluded. Oh, nah, not yet. These people we just fought now, they only got caught up in distortion. They didn't actually distort themselves. They haven't gotten close to the distortion's inflection point yet. Inflection point? Anywho. Finding an inflection point about team leader round is gonna take some time. Maybe it won't be too bad with your help. Ezra swept her eyes around the room with a look of frustration, as though she'd just been handled a puzzle box with half of the pieces missing. By inflection points, actually referring to the points on a graph in which the direction of its curvature changes. Calling to mind the present context. Maybe less a mathematical term and more a specialized polysem. Polysem? Damn, that's some thesaurus words. To the point at which distortion occurs. The mode of intent, or indeed, the points in which inflection of the mind occurs. Yep, that's about right. That's the kind of inflection point I was talking about. So in our department, we use that term to mean the source of distortion, and the inflector or the cause behind it. Stuff like that. You know, and distortion's hard to treat if you don't know the core cause. Treat the symptoms you see on the surface all you like, but you'll never find the root cause. Distortion's never gonna get solved. Though I guess you guys never really had to look for that kind of stuff, huh? Your boss's clock opens up a door into the fathoms or whatever, right? And you mean the dungeon of the fathoms? Yep, that's the one. From where we're standing, distortions are high maintenance, time consuming headaches. It's one thing to somehow manage to locate the inflection point, but curing it isn't everything. But you guys can just march straight into someone's heart and knock the snot out of everything in there, and then ta-da! Patient ready for discharge. That's how it works, right? Not gonna lie, I was so jealous when I heard about it. I almost bit my sleeve off. That does that make Limbus company kind of like the Phantom Thieves? Is Persona 5 a Limbus company reference? Speaking of Persona 5, do you know that Persona 5 is 10 years old this year? Persona 5 is 10 years old. Holy shit. Verily, I had thought your team would set about resolving distortions once the foe was vanquished. As we are wont to do, was that not so? I still haven't played Royale. I heard that Royale improves a lot of things, but like, I'm not a fan of Persona 5. I think Persona 5 is the weakest of the trilogy. I don't know, maybe Royale makes things better. Of course not. Why would anyone come to us with distortion and suppression requests if it were that simple in the first place? But yeah, most of the time, peeps try to brute force approaches to it first. When things go south, they send requests to company or to a detective's office. That means the client this time must have been... Bingo! Apparently residents of Butler Street all chipped in commissions to all kind of agencies like the ZY and Combat Specialized Fixer's office. But none of them could actually do things right and got the job passed on to us. I wonder, if you hire like a fixer but they fail, do you still have to pay them? I guess you have to pay like an upfront fee and then like a netter on completion. I mean, the distortion phenomenon related to this kind of photograph is still occurring unchecked somewhere in the districts. Exactly. That's why we gotta find something, anything that might count as a clue. Ezra gazed down at the people lying on the floor with a complicated expression. Neat ash gray suits and the logo of the collared uniform and briefcases. Hey, isn't that Encore's logo? Come to think of it, wasn't Mersal? I was once employed by Encore. What? He used to work with those people. Yeah, he did mention that he used to work at Encore. Maybe he can offer us some insight. You know who these guys are, Mersal? Yes, manager. These are Encore, Class 2 staff members, given the camera briefcases in their position. They are most likely members of the pin frame team of services de Claw. Mersal recited the information as though he was pulling it from a file. He had already sorted and placed in the back of the shelf in his mind. Contracts are apparently super serious. Yeah, but they're only enforceable by threats of violence, you know? Okay, pin frame team, huh? Anything else you can tell us about them? Yes. It is one of the Encore's many field departments related to information gathering and processing. Their primary duties including the handling of Encore's internal information, analysis of Encore's internal intelligence, the sorting and ranging of Encore's internal information, and intersector. Be enough. Wow, is he a talking encyclopedia or something? Yeah, and everything to be jealous of. You think it's okay if we borrow him sometime? Might be an issue for us if he just went and borrowed our team's encyclopedia. Looks like everyone agrees that he's an encyclopedia. Anyway, your encyclopedias, right? They're from Encore's Painframe team. I've seen them a few times before in Encore's nest. But why would people actually already busy with dealing with Encore's affairs come all the way out to a shabby back street like this? Got any guesses? I'm unable to determine that. Huh? A possible range of connections between two pieces of information is exceedingly broad. Listing every relevant reason as to why they might come here would require a considerable amount of time. Therefore, I will not present a determinative answer to that question. Huh? He's sort of staring holes into me with an unspoken, is this dude always like this? I wouldn't pull any answers from me, you know? Because aside from combat situations, I still got no way to figure out what's going on in his head. Okay then, Marcel, maybe this will be easier to answer. From an objective point of view, and that was when I noticed something I never imagined would happen. Marcel's eyes widened, his gaze fixing on me with such force I could almost feel a tremor behind it. A leveling stare that came with, there's no such thing as an objective point of view. Manager. Interesting. A clipped tone and a look almost bordering on rebuke. A given judgment must seem infinitely close to objective, but ultimately all things are subjective without exception. I felt silent for a moment, lost in thought. Part of it was because Mersault's reaction had caught me off guard. I also wonder if this response might be connected to why he always refused to make judgments for himself. And if this has something to do with his turn, which I know is just around the corner. Got it. Then tell me 3 subjective reasons which are most likely for why these people had to come all the way into the back streets. I need to understand who he actually is as much as I can. Because I'll never know when I'll get another chance to really get to know him if I brush this off with a simple, oh I see, my bad. Yes, Manager. I would presume that their mission was one of or all of the following. Retrieval of a video recording or recordings in violation of Encore's taboo. Prompt elimination of the violator. Contact with the informant that Backstreet is collaborating with Encore's nest. Or identification and arrest of a wanted individual or individuals designated by the nest. Taboo? You mean these people could be taboo hunters? Nah, no way. They don't send out taboo hunters for every single violation, you know? I kind of assumed that was the case. Cause like Vespa is a taboo hunter. Or was a Encore taboo hunter. Like, wings usually leave minor taboo violations to be handled by subcontracted fixed offices or employees of a department in charge. I'd say these guys here are all Encore staff. Oh, okay. They still will get you, but they won't send in the big guys. It's like they don't send in the FBI for every violation. And sometimes you just gotta hire a beat cop. Taboos that belong to the no, this is violating Encore's taboo. If you violate the head's taboos, I think you're just automatically hunted down without exception. Miss Sangdu, what are you looking for in their pockets? I'm looking for whatever belongs for enlightening clues yet to be hidden in the sleeve or the fold of the garments. Lady Moses has been gifted with the art of discerning the truth from what lies before her with a single glance. Yet my eyes are foreign to such a feat. Let me take a look too. This employee card, and okay. This one's a wallet, so let's put that back. We don't want to be robbers. And this might be it. This is an order missive. Ezra pulled out a sheet of paper from an Encore staff coat and read its contents out loud. Work details. Elimination of an individual of a Category 3 taboo violation. Address, Butter Street, This is the place. Which means all of these might point to might be pointing to something. We used to work in the studio, and the distortion phenomenon might be connected. Yeah, now that you mention it, when that whole pop and charge thing happened, it did kind of feel like a camera flash. Alright, let's start by coming through this place. Let me know if you find anything suspicious. Oh, at long last had the hour arrived for my debut as a detective. Forsooth. Don Quixote must have been miffed for not getting to play detective back in C-Core. No idea where she'd been keeping them, but she immediately pulled out the detective props that were given to Rodeo, Ryoshi, and Honolulu back then. Verily, I had foreseen that day would come soon. Fortunately, Otis no time in putting an end to Don Quixote's badly timed shenanigan. A sharp dressing down from her was enough to make our dejected chivalric adventurer stuff the costume away. No! I want to see Detective Don Quixote! Okay then, we should get moving too. No fun allowed, Otis. No fun allowed. All right. Really? Fine. I'll uptie the stupid Otis. Never going to use this ID again. Never going to use this ID again. All of my EXP tickets that I got from beating Railroad is going towards this stupid blade lineage. Same with you. I'm probably going to be using you for the blade lineage team. Oh, when did I get the level boost ticket? Oh yeah, what is maxed out? Shit, too late. It's been a long while rifling through the photo studio with the LCD team, but found no decisive evidence. Oh, you know what? There was also I could have borrowed someone's Ishmael. Sure are a lot of photos around, but almost all of them are just pictures of buildings. Nothing more than that. Oh, the level 60 was from the railroad. I'll probably keep that for Ishmael. Aside from the canister containing the film roll Sinclair picked up, there are no remaining items here that could count as proper clue, Executive Manager. I confirmed that the rest are all empty plastic containers. And it's probably best to check the contents of the film roll directly. Yes, Executive Manager. I'll find a way to develop the film. Did you guys find any sort of photo development room or equipment nearby? Let's search a little more before we see what's on that film roll. Mentor, what do you make of this object? For the 8th time, Ongdu, I have no idea. If I had wits bright enough to understand all that lies before me with a single glance like that team leader, I would have passed the royal examinations a long time ago and secured myself a lucrative position in the court official. Mentor, haven't you already passed the royal... Once swung, the sword does not retrace its arc, Ongdu. So it is with life. There's no undoing what's already been cut. It's not unnecessary to dwell on what no longer be undone. There's no after for what has already been slashed away. For you, Mentor. What, you not dwell on what can no longer be undone? I misspoke. I did not mean it that way, Ongdu. I merely meant to say that I do not wish to recall my past. I'm aware that you've told me as much since long ago whenever you were placed in a position to retrace the past. Mostly as the eateries where you filled your belly on unpaid tabs, and each time you brought down that stone wall before our house by your own erring hand. Those are exactly the kind of things you should never forget. Oh, my belly. I feel stabbing pain in my belly. Spot. Oh, the very wound you once gave me afflicts me yet. The one from when you thought you were only poking me with scabbard jets by some cruel turn. It was your sword that ran me through. Mentor, you said I was completely healed and I need not concern myself with it. Those very same words have been repeated at least 80 times. I still aches every now and then, chiefly when I hear sharp cutting words that I really don't want to hear. Huh, is that so? Ongdu suddenly pulled out a sheet of paper and began furiously writing something down. What is this? I've written down the words that I have just said. If hearing my sharp cutting words afflicts you so, perhaps reading them instead would cause no suffering. His face began to contort like a wet dish towel being wrung dry. He is such like a Phoenix Wright character. It's so good. I really can't believe this is the same mentor Ongdu follows so devotedly. Where's that dignity and forbearance Ongdu said he had? Young Ongdu? There is a matter I would ask of thee. Apparently I wasn't the only one who felt that way about him. Pray, speak freely. This may perhaps be a discourteous inquiry, but I too, when speaking of those whom I serve, often ornament my words with a laudation of acceptable degree, and yet... I understand your concern, Lady Don Quixote. I suppose this is your first time seeing Mentor with his shoulders so embraced and his bearing so loose. In truth, when I first beheld him, I also wondered why such a man could truly be a leader worth placing my faith in. However, upon my honor, I assure you that I have never once uttered a falsehood when I spoke of him to you. My respect towards the blades of my own and foes alike, my determination to safeguard that must be protected, and even should my arms be torn apart, all of those are undoubtedly the teachings that my master as mentor has imparted onto me. Truly? Why, if fortune should grant the opportunity, you may witness mentor's true self yourself someday. That is to say, if we let ourselves be carried by the currents of the river, and to arrive at such chance. Ongdu gave her prosthetic arm a casual sweep, smiling sincerely as though she believed every word she said. Then leaning closer to Don Quixote, she whispered, Besides, unless I speak with this feigned stern ignorance, there will be no end to his digging in his heels. I would ask for your trust, that's all, for all is to be aimed for his benefit. Forsooth, thou too hast been burdened with such trials of serving your superior? Wait, what the fuck is that supposed to mean? Oh, that's what it was. I get it now. Just as I was witnessing the budding of this peculiar bond of commiseration and camaraderie between our chivalric friends, the door leading outside was flung open with such a loud slam. We have arrived at the target location. It appears the advance party has already been defeated. Wait, who are these people? Didn't they say there was only a single violator? Oh, crap. Looks like it's too late to talk our way out of this, whatever excuses we come up with. Oh boy, this is not going well. The same thing happened last time when I saw the Encore employees. Thought we had the wrong intel, and all of a sudden, a sign flashed blinded my vision white, as I stared straight into the burst of searing light, so intense and bright it made my head swim. Yeah, there's the same pop and my vision blinded. The only thing I could make out was Ezra's soft murmur, until everything came to a stop as I heard her breathing hush. Oh. What? It didn't take long for me to realize what was happening. Seeing it again doesn't exactly warm the heart, wouldn't you say, Ongdu? Though Escort may indeed be passing through hard times, Sally was not so quite as so wretched in form, was it, Mentor? Is that right? Looks much the same to me. This place. Did we just get teleported to Escort? No, Dante. Oh, it generates a considerable sense of verisimilitude. This is... I think I know what this is. This is a presence. I haven't been able to detect it until just now, but somehow it was surrounding us, saturating every corner of the space we stood. The dreary stone walls, trees bent and cold in grotesque forms, sheen of the lights, and even the air we breathe, all of it point towards a single phenomenon. This is the depth of the phantoms? Phantoms made entirely out of distortion. There are completely different distortions where the Encore employees were just moments ago. Executive manager, it's exactly it. This is what I was trying to explain. Whoa. It's kind of rad looking, not gonna lie. That's pretty cool. Chunoka? Where Ezra pointed, the people in smart, neat suits had vanished, and in their place, figures clad in blood-stained doppel robes were approaching us with dragging uneasy steps. Right, let's fight first, talk later. Ready, Youngdu? My blade is poised to strike, Lady Ezra. And wait, where's that bamboo-headed Kim dude? I'm afraid he has already taken his leave. He said he has no desire to cross blades with the... Okay, I should look up. Unoku. Pronunciation. It's a made-up word. Or is a Chinokun of S chorus twice. Chinokun. Come on, man, not again. He's a repeat offender, that's for certain. Executive manager. Wherever's Kim gone off to, this definitely wasn't the time to be asking trivial questions. Right, let's do what Ezra says and get ready for battle. On your orders, Executive Manager. Men, prepare for battle. He's trying to make sure that people have the expectations of him so they can't assume that he can't work, he just doesn't want to work. He's capable but lazy, is what she's trying to say.
왜 그딴 표정으로 쳐다보는 거지? 설마 내가 그 로싱나 이희돈 홍처럼 온순해졌을 거라 기대했나?
Alright, get in there, you useless members.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는
Ezra's here.
쉽게 하지 않아요. 저자, 보기 좋게 거미줄에 걸렸군.
Dokkaebi arms. Oh, you can kind of hear like a bit of a remix of Bamboo-headed Kim's theme. It's neat. Yeah, everyone's here to help except for Bamboo-headed Kim. What the fuck? I agree, distortion or sweepers.
자세에 틀림은 없구나.
Fucking claiming their bones.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
What's that status effect they're picking up? I should swap over to like their translated version just so that I can actually hear what they're saying. Wait, so what's the rest of Limbus Company doing? Like, we just got thrown into the Dungeons and Fathoms. Isn't this a good time for like Dante to like summon people? I feel like shit's going down right now. Yeah, I know Ryoshu and Rhodia are getting food.
물러서지 않겠습니다.
We're gonna. After this is supposed to be Walpurgis not, right? What do you think we're gonna get? Has every sinner gotten Walpurgis not ID yet? I'm gonna say yes. Right? Everyone should have a 3-star by now. Yeah, so the big question, they can really go with whatever for the next one.
어릴 땐 몰랐어. 왜 엄마가 삼촌들이랑 말도 못 섞게 했는지.
Some of them have even gotten 2.
그 외부 강사들 손가락 안에서도 내로라 하는 실력자들이었을 거야. 너희가 보여준 혹은 더 대단한 기술.
Like Ryosho got 2 IDs.
망설임이 없도록.
Yeah, Honglu has a full stop. Sinclair also has Philip Claire. If we want to go by like who hasn't had one the longest, it would be Faust. It's been a minute since Sinclair got an idea. What do you mean? Is everyone gonna forget House of Spider Sinclair? I know he kind of exists just to give Ryoshu a buff, but like. But like, Sinclair did get an ID this season. You know who actually hasn't gotten an ID yet? I think Bersault hasn't gotten anything this entire season. Heathcliff has been a minute. Bersault got a B. Was that this season? I guess that would be this season.
죄를 새겨주겠어.
학교 마치고 집에 돌아왔을 때 문 너머에서 엄마의 발소리가 들리네.
You know, it'd be really funny. Almost everyone keeps saying like Lucio Heathcliff, but what if? What if it was Mersault
구,
Lucio?
원,
Just saying. When does the season end again? August. August-ish. We don't know start of August, mid-August, or end August. Could be like the very start of August, for instance. Because the only thing between, the only things left for this season is this event and Walpurgis Not. And then we start next season after that. No more events or raids or anything like that. That should be all of them. Surveying the area of measured alert, Ongdu casts the blood from her sword with a few sharp flicks before sliding it back into its sheath. Huh. They're not changing back. It doesn't look like beating up the disordered ones reverts them immediately this time around. Perhaps a fortunate turn of events. In a way, let's search for clues while time allows us. Right. You take that side, Ongdu. I'll search here. Ezra and Ongdu moved about as though they were used to this kind of situation. Without even taking a moment to catch their breath after the battle, began searching the space. Crazy! Don Quixote was the first one to voice her doubts in the surreal and familiar situation we found ourselves in. We battled distortions upon our arrival hither, yet never before have I beheld our surroundings change with so sudden a flash. Crazy, I cannot make sense of the situation. Couldst thou render a detailed account of this distortion phenomenon? Apologies, it would appear I overlooked a briefing due to the urgency of the predicament. This is, according to the definition presented by Lady Moses, a location-type distortion. It's basically when a whole space distorts, and since places and buildings can't move on their own, the distortion gets fixed to a certain space. As for this one, it looks like the distortion's already progressed pretty far along. Middle stage, probably. They don't usually get this big, but this one's here is covering almost an entire street. Then those people. They entered this space and got caught up in it. Our job right now is get to the bottom of the phenomenon. What exactly gets these people caught up and what happens to them once they're in? Of course, we can't really rule out the possibility that a powerful distortion that's encroaching upon his environment. Oh, by that I mean the distortion bleeds into the space around it and warps it. Oh man, I'm actually talking like our team leader. Rubbed off on me, I guess. Ezra continued with a sheepish giggle. In any case, you won't be able to suppress or cure distortion even if we whoop these guys' asses a few hundred times. We need more clues to help us locate the inflection point. Maybe we should examine these people over there too, huh? With a call, Ezra directed our attention to rows of collapsed people all around, all of them clad in dopal robes. And these are the glyph emblazoned upon their headbands. True. It bespeaks propulsion and pursuit. Marks them as a Chunokuns. Functionaries charged with scouring and hunting runaway nobis. You hail from the homeland as we do. I'm unsurprised that you know of them. I could hardly fail to know, for I, too, was once enamored along their quarry. Scientists and technicians were daily being dispossessed of their station in Escor, after all. So it's no idle tale. Scientists who plied their craft without fattening Escor's coffers were seized forthwith and made nobis of the corporation. Indeed. I count myself fortunate to have absconded with my friends before the brand of Nobi could be impressed upon us. Otherwise... Nobi. The wretched appellation conferred upon the people for who the convenience of those in power. A vile practice of an excuse for the power-mongering, nothing more. The so-called taboo hunters at Escor operate by much the same anatomy. Does the breaching of this taboo summon the hunter, or does the hunter first seize the prey, to thereafter frame the captured with investigated transgressions? Let the powerful so desire to chase a man down, take possession of his very being and keep him caged. Then they need only decree that he should bear the lot of a Nobi, such as what Escor has become today. My mentor, too, is one of the victims of that accursed practice. Then, Could these people have been sent out to capture a mentor, you say? Or me, perhaps? Or none of us? You mean to say that there are many conceptual forms of Chunokuns generated by distortions? That's possible to... That is a possible... you mean to say that there may be the conceptual forms of Chunokuns generated by distortion? That is a plausible conjecture. We're getting nowhere with this clue hunting. With a heavy sigh, Otis pressed her fingers against her brow as if her head were starting to pound in frustration. Yeah, it's like K-Core. We power distortions by... Or we power singularity by subjecting people to needless cruelty. N-Core, we extract information from people's head and sell it as a commodity. S-Core, slaves. What? Yeah, just slaves. We just have slaves. To delve further into the matter, it is necessary to determine why the S-Core and its Chunokuns have appeared in this as the motif of this phenomenon. Concerning the course of events we've seen thus so far, would it not stand to reason that the distortion stains all nearby things of memories most foul? The presence of Chunokuns suggests a possible correspondence to these things' memories. Conversely, however, the absence of T-Core's time collectors weakens that hypothesis. In which case, the most plausible theory is that this particular distortion could stem from a bamboo-headed Kim's or Ungdu's memories. Ungdu furrowed her brow and fell into thought, as though she couldn't grasp the full picture of the problem. Do you turn them into robots or something? No, they're just slaves. What part of slaves do you not understand? They're just slaves. I've seen a few distortions that show trauma or affect the surroundings. But this one? I'm not getting that pop of inspiration. I haven't guessed what the distortion was either. A white flash of light suddenly drowned my vision again as Ezra clutched her head and cried out with annoyance. Only team leader was here. Cracking this would have been a piece of cake. Where is Moses? And we're back. So this is why you kept asking whether we've seen anything bursting with a pop? And core employees must have it rough too, being dragged into a distortion like this. I mean, what else are we supposed to do? It was self-defense. They're about to attack us. I suppose finding the root cause and taking care of it would be the fastest way forward. Let's just do what we can for now. Okay, first, we need to develop the film we found here. Right to the nearest dark room and... Nah, actually, let's first drag that slippery hat wearing cult back here and get him talking about the Chunokuns. That's probably our best bet. Every time we take a job, that slacker just slips off without telling anyone. As one part of me watched, Ezra stamped her feet in frustration. I was also carefully following Heathcliff's team through the other part of my vision. Oh, I think I can help with that. Have you located him? Huh? What? Boss Clock found someone. Yep, found where Bamboo-headed Kim is right now. Slacking off.
도박장죄로 의뢰를 냈다 싶더니 이렇게나 밑장 빼는 놈들이 한가득일 줄이야. 아, 한 달은 의뢰 없이 놀아도 되겠는데요? 사무소 놓았네.
Okay. Can you borrow people again? Ah, support. Oh. Someone out there has to have a new Ishmael, right? Right? And I refresh the list. If I click it enough time, there we go. All right, let's not take the shitty ones with us.
지위를 받
자유로워지.
밧줄 단단히 묶어라.
내 작품 또 보고 싶었나 봐.
피가 범람할 시간이요.
내 작품 또 보고 싶었나 봐. 내 작품?
Congrats.
부선장이
태연에게
망설임 없이
You're now, Rodion, you're now a BL member.
뛰어가겠네.
Meanwhile, Heathcliff's team. Bloody hell, what's up with these gits just showing up out of nowhere? Oh, sure, I know. But judging by their get-up, they seem like a escort fellas. Things were going so well. We could have talked about those Fedora guys who were rummaging around the place earlier, you know? But no, you just had to go barking at them in the first place. I would say there's a whole lot of trouble if you hadn't, right? Oh, so it's my fault now. Those bastards looked like they were nicking stuff. This is our contracted area, right? And walked out with something important, we wouldn't be the ones catching hell. Listen, bud, everyone's itching to swipe hair coupons in their pockets the second they get a chance. Oh, how many bloody months are y'all gonna milk that? Till the end of time, Heathcliff. Till the end of time. Excuse me. What? You got a problem too, mate? No, not at all. Just wondering whether that gentleman over there is also one of our enemies. Is that the end of our troop? Is that the end of your troop performance? Shame. I was really enjoying watching you guys dance. I wasn't mistaken this place for the Peach Blossom Land of Legends had to be a cup of fine macadamia to go with it. Rice wine. Yeah, that's an enemy, all right. Yeah, that's a name tag though. I think it says LCD. LCD or whatever, who gives a toss? Am I supposed to put up with that bastard having a dig at me? Oh dear. Whew. Old swings. Didn't know there was an encore to that performance. You slippery little rat. I do find this amusing enough, but if you intend to play with me, you gotta be more aware of your surroundings. Hey, behind you, there's... Wow. You took all those doppel-wearing people with just a single strike. I'd say that about covers the price of admissions for your troop circus, wouldn't you? Now then, I leave the rest of you folks. Wandering blades and Miriam tails never linger on the stage for long after all. Oi, where the hell do you think you're going? Ah, damn it. Yeah, maybe you can just like kill them all in one strike. Yeah, maybe you can just kill them all in one strike. Just take care of them. After new Honglu, can you have more than one support at a time? I think you can only borrow one unit at a time, isn't it? No? You can actually have more? Oh, just one. Okay. Yeah. I think it's fine for me to just grab Ishmael.
법을 이제야 좀 이해해.
I'm actually curious what sweeper sounds like, so I'm gonna swap over.
어떤 시간과 공간에 계시는 관리자님이 들을진 몰라도 그때를 위해서 미리 음원을 녹음해야 한다는 거군요. 아, 이런. 이것도 녹음되고 있는지는 미처 몰랐네요.
Oh, Hong Lu, you also practice. You're part of Blade Lineage now. What kind of sword style do you use?
긴장하셨나요?
Gun.
그럴 땐 크게 심호흡을 하면
I practice this sword by shooting people. It sound like Vocaloids. Wait, really? When are we getting a Hatsune Miku sleeper? I think I made this exact joke when I was playing Library of Ruina. I vaguely remember making some kind of comment about when are we getting a Hatsune Miku sweeper.
타겟 포착 1시 반에
Hatsune Miku sweeper. Oh yeah! Someone made art of Hatsune Miku sweeper.
그래, 그것이 짜게 갖다 써야지.
그 삶에
별로 어려울 거.
마침표를
You know they say
적에게
all
치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠.
what the
저는
what?
언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Wait, what happened? Turn and lose one staggered. Certain effects transform when staggered. Would Gronk be taboo? No. It's kind of a simple enough AI. Like they have they said that you can have simple AIs for like drones and stuff. It's not like Warhammer 40k where there's no AIs whatsoever.
포착 1시 반에
Oop, there goes gravity. Got back to reality. It's only when the AI is too advanced that it has to go. Ta-da! Sweeper Miku. Remember, all Mikus are canon. Sweeper Miku is real and will hurt you. Now, if Hatsune Miku was in the city, I think she'd have to go. Wait, what is with that? What is with that icon? Lucent rippling flame.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어. 그중 제일 뛰어난 게 검이었고.
I heard that with the ego equipped, Blade Lineage, he's saying now hits for like a 21 on his skill 1, which is nuts. That ego turns Blade Lineage into a serious faction.
직원들이 긍정적인 환경에 놓여 있게 되었어요. 관리자님이 이 기회를 잘 활용하길 기다리겠습니다. 기계는 언제나 기다리는 운명이니까요.
Maybe I'll do like a single 10 pull after this stage just to see if I can get it.
그 삶에
You know, there's actually a surprising amount of bleed poise units, except they mostly suck.
개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다.
Ah, so every 3 turns in the battlefield changes. I see.
성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠.
So there's actually a theory that. So the big thing about the La Stranger, which is where Mersault is from, is that he shoots a guy on the beach with a gun and kills him. So there's a theory that maybe this Mersault shot someone on camera instead. So let me get this straight. Dude was just here a minute ago, and nobody knows where he wandered off to? Yeah, bloke just turned up out of nowhere, flapped his gums, and did a runner before anyone could grab him. Ezra let out a long, listless sigh, as though she was getting sick and tired of even complaining about him. Lady Ezra, I cannot say your frustration is misplaced. Yet I trust you're also aware that more often than not, Mentor's actions have carried a profound design. He has never left his post without purpose so far. Oh, I get it. But, okay, but come on. Would it kill him to give us a heads up before he goes zooming off on his own again? Not like we'd stop him. What are we gonna do? Tie him up, lock him up in the closet? We don't do that in our team, right? Remember last time when we all thought he was being a good patient and sleeping it off in the recovery ward? But nope. When the LCE got infiltrated, he snuck out without telling anyone and came back like nothing happened. And the team leader didn't even chew him out for all that. Lady Ezra, that's... Oops. Wasn't supposed to mention that, was I? And the reason he failed to participate in the operation was... simply because LCD was lax in supervising its personnel. Is that what you're suggesting? Lady Moses bade us to hold our tongues for this very reason. She knew full well Mentor's intentions would be misunderstood in precisely that manner. What part of this have I misunderstood? Did you not just disclose that a man deserted his post without authorization? That's the thing, he wasn't just wandering around. He was outside all alone, taking down the ring automaticons who locked down the elevator that led to the LCE department. Yeah, it's not like he was dealing with the strongest enemy out there, but the recovery ward didn't have an emergency alarm. And nobody from the department was there to warn him either. He just somehow just caught on and did the job himself. Yeah, well, could have been helping against Callisto, just saying. It's all thanks to him that the facilities team managed to get the comms back up and contact the LCE dude way faster. I guess he helped. And that the LCA and that helped the LCA to actually deploy. That would have been delayed for another hour or two if he hadn't stepped in, apparently. And he went fighting even though he wasn't fully recovered, so he came back looking like he'd been processed through a meat grinder. So yeah, he did end up staying in bed like a good patient and in a lot of pain. And then the soldier's not entirely deserving of reproach. Nope, he's less talking, more doing type, I guess. Anyway, we were all stuck inside the building back then during the incident, so fine. I suppose there was no helping it. Today though, never mind, it's always like this with him. He always slips away and pops back in saying, it's done. My point is, What happens if one day one of those soul missions doesn't go his way and he just drops dead in the street somewhere? How are we supposed to help him then? Actually, how does he even know what's supposed to be done in the first place when nobody gives him any instructions? Bloke's gotta be relying on his gut feeling, isn't it? Gut feeling? Look, I only saw the bloke for a bit, so I can't say I've got him all figured out. He's an annoying bastard, but he didn't strike me as someone clueless sock who doesn't know where he's stepping. Cliff scratched at his chin, then kept talking as though he was stating an obvious fact. It is proof enough. He's not one of us, so Clock, I could have reached him from that far and sent him to back us up. There's no way he just happened to run into us just when we were about to go into battle, ain't it? Then, could be bloke's got some stupidly sharp head on him and piece things together. Could be that. I've got these moments when I get flesh of that gut feeling, however you want to call it. My boss man Matthew said he could hear that kind of shite too. Said, I can hear them gears turning, or I think I hear rats scurrying about. He'd do things you couldn't make heads or tails of. Listen, there was this one time we were all expecting a life and death fight. Matthew says he can hear them gears turn. Walks into random pubs and starts throwing back drinks like he'd lost his bloody mind. Huh? It does sound like someone who's lost his bloody mind. Back when I was on the ship, some sailors used to drink the barrel dry before battling whales to blunt their fear. Only to stumble around the deck and fall overboard. Yeah, and the boss could knock it back like a whale. Still, point is, getting plastered right before a turf war is not what most sane people call a good idea. And it's all crossed, so we went stomping after him. And guess what? There's on that pub with a secret hideout where the opposing syndicate was holed up. They were crowding around the gaffer, running their mouths about how they would kill him and put an end to dead rabbits. That's when we came storming in and had them surrounded instead. A single one of them got away and beat them bloody, every last bastard. And the boss knew how to play out. Okay. There's a difference between like gut instinct and that borderlines like precognition. Didn't help him though when the other Heathcliff came by. Sorry, but this really does sound like a bar stool bragging to me. Sure that wasn't just a coincidence? I should think it was no mere chance. If you're saying so much, and surely this was but one amongst many such coincidences, is that not so? Yeah, every time Matthew pulled one of those stunts, our lot ended up growing bigger. We kept working so neatly if it was just a coincidence. It is likely what is often referred to as indeed an instinctive sense or experience-based precognition. More accurately, an unconscious process by which information accumulated in the subconscious is sorted and converted into sensible conclusions. It's like when Hong Lu knows the small signs and knew an assassination attempt is coming. Yeah, probably. There have been some extremely rare cases in which I like how she emphasizes extremely rare cases in which Heathcliff has demonstrated ability to arrive at a coherent conclusion that surprises even Faust. On further analysis, it would appear that he was employing a mechanism similar to a sixth sense, as people will call it. Oi, is that a compliment or you're taking a piss out of me? Though my mentor does not see fit to explain each step he takes. When all is past, I often find that no footfall of his was taken in vain. I would ask of you, grant him but a little time and wait. Keep waiting, and the shape of his intent may yet become clear. Though I confess I have also been concerned of him of late. His recent silence is far heavier than what I've noticed in the past. To wait. And Don Quixote began, hesitated, and stopped herself from saying more. Jonah gave a quiet nod. Yeah, okay, I suppose our team leader has her own reasons for letting him be. That said, it doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Let's return to the task at hand and do what we can for now. Instincts and vibes. That's how Hong Lu moves her life, you know? Fine. As the others quieted down, I finally had room to notice the place we found ourselves in. There wasn't a single ray of light, just a deep red hue pressed in on every side. Can't believe we've been chatting away in the dark this whole time, fellas, and the red lights aren't helping at all. Especially with my age and eyes. Oh, are you looking for the light switch? It's right here. And right then, don't turn on the light. I heard Mersault's clipped warning. His voice coming from a corner I didn't expect to find. Mersault? Where are you? There he is, in that corner. Is he washing something? I'm developing the film roll, Manager. Exposure to light may ruin the entire roll. Please exercise caution. They've been doing his own thing. That explains why he was so quiet all along. Huh? Didn't think you know how to print photographs, pal. What's that for anyway? You expressed a wish to have the film developed, Manager. I'm carrying out the instruction. I see. A photo study first, and now a darkroom. This may be no more than conjecture, but it would not be unreasonable to suppose that the accident of distortion rests upon the photographer. The film's serial number either matches those found in the photo studio or deviate only by a single digit. It is certain that this darkroom is connected to the studio in some way. Images bear striking resemblance to these photographs. I also believe this building and photo studio share a strong connection. Oh? Where'd you get these photographs? I brought some from the photo studio. I cannot name the locations of pictures with certainty, yet they all appear to be taken at various places and course districts. Buildings mostly. Hey, wait! I know what these are. People are taking pictures like these when supplying stuff to that department store. Have a good night, hugs, and thank you for the hydrate. Correct. These photographs must have been taken by the by a docugrapher. Mersault chimed in, holding up an odd cylindrical container in his hand this time. He gave the container a shake every now and then, with a measured rhythm. Whatever he was doing seems to be part of the process of developing the film. Film rolls are hardly affordable for the average resident and core. In most cases, taking photographs is done as part of a professional's duties. These are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. There are approximately 21 occupations in District 14 that utilize photography. However, only a single profession involves routinely photographing specific buildings, adhering to fixed standards that can be observed in these pictures. And these docugraphers you mentioned, are the people entrusted with that job? Yes, they photograph with the information to be poured into the canned experience. A docugrapher? How could a person of such decently lucrative profession fall into distortion? Decent job, maybe, but how do we know they're a decent person? Ezra replied with a clear and cut answer, only after a brief pause. What makes you say that? These photo studios we were at didn't have any darkrooms, right? No, it didn't. My team leader said that there are other ways of processing film rolls. But in Encore, you gotta go to a darkroom to develop and print them. Correct. Film rolls are usually immersed in developer solution to be processed. Which is why photo studios have these darkrooms equipped with red safe lights right next to them. But this place is pretty far from that photo studio. Huh. Yeah, no, you mention it. Check out these windows. They're only covered by newspapers. I'll mess you like if you consider how sensitive film rolls are to light. It's really super suspicious this darkroom doesn't have any proper blackout panels. And you know, films that can cost a fortune someplace in the city, right? Who in their right mind would print photos in a room patched up with yesterday's news? Oh. This probably isn't even a legit darkroom. Someone just hauled in the bare minimum tools needed to develop film and threw them together in a hurry. Someone who didn't want to be seen printing photos. And people don't usually avoid scrutiny unless you're doing something not so decent. If that's the case, then I can see why they might have distorted. Right? Manager. Mersault came to my side quietly, still giving the strange cylinder the occasional shake. I have a request regarding your instruction to develop this film roll. What is it? Please ensure the lights in this room is not turned on until development is complete. Are we already doing that? Yes. However, engaging in battle operations and battle opens the door to uncontrollable variables. That's why I've judged it to make it a separate request. You love film photography and developing photos in a dark room. You miss working in a dark room? Well, what kind of photography were you what kind of films were you developing? Was it like a professional studio or like kind of like a CBS darkroom? Battle? There is no need for concern. I am capable of participating in battle while maintaining the development process. Oh, wait. Can you slow down? A battle, you say? Surely there must be cause for you to believe so. At the photo studio, reinforcements arrived exactly 11 minutes and 34 seconds after N-Core pinframe team staff were defeated. Deductions based on the events thus far make it clear that the photo studio and this dark room share some kind of connection. Furthermore, Sinner Heathcliff, Sinner Honglun, Sinner Grigor have battled N-Core's pinframe team in this very location. I hear footsteps rushing up the staircase, approaching closer and closer. I have a feeling I know what Marcel's getting at, but I ask anyway. Meaning? The initial rinse is finished. The process is now halfway to completion of the second agitation. This indicates that 11 minutes and 30 seconds have elapsed since the start of development. A battle is imminent. Please withdraw to a safe position, Major. Marcel, you should have warned us way earlier! Understood, Manager. I'll follow the instruction going forward. Ooh, studio, college studio.
돌아오고 있어요. 뒤틀림에서 다시 사람의 형상으로.
That sounds cool.
살수의 방식으로는 절대 도달하지 못했을 결과이죠.
I've only experienced like
이젠 좀 알 것 같네요.
digital photography.
S사로 떠나기 전까지.
No. My dad used to have film rolls, but I don't think he developed them himself. I think he always took them to a store to develop. 3-star. What did I get? Fucking Honglu. No, we're about to have a Walpurgis knot. I better not. I better not. It's about to be Walpurgis knot. Buy some XP. After the battle. Wait, what do you mean after the battle? We just skipped the whole ass battle? Nothing still sits ill with me. Amid the sprawl of Escor's back streets, distorted with flesh, Ungdu had her gaze fixed somewhere high overhead. And the end of her gaze. Are those photographs? I'm okay with less filler battles, to be honest. Long lines stretched across the open air, photographs hanging from it like laundry clipped to a clothesline. Compared to the days of 5 battles in a row with no story. I mistook it for Kumjo at first and gave it a little attention. Yet upon closer look, I saw these pictures hanging from the line. Perhaps they'd been strung with the darkroom and remained thus when the distortion took hold. Bizarre. Observations of unaffected elements in the space occupied by a location-type distortion is most irregular. Indeed, the items we bore from the studio have already changed into images of various sites of Escor. And these alone remain as they were. Let's take them down and check them ourselves. Because I was wondering if the line was perhaps too high for me to reach. Marcel stepped forward and plucked a few photographs off it, and the instant he brought them to me, we heard an air pop, and again a bright white flash blinded my vision for a moment. Good grief. This notion likes to change his mind, huh? Keeps switching between Escor and Encore. This feels like getting caught in a flashbang detonation. My whole body tenses up and goes slack right after. The arsonists were busy grumbling about the distortion, and his son jumps, except for Marcel, who stood in front of me with the photograph still held in his hands. Oh, you didn't drop them? No. He gave his usual short answer, then returned to attention of the cylinder he'd been shaking. Do you really have to agitate the cylinder like that? I thought you kind of just leave it in the solution and rinse it off, don't you? I have no idea how to develop film. He took the film out of the container and flicked the liquid off it with clean, controlled motions. Is the processing finally done? Wait, we're back here with the lights on now. Is it okay to take the film out? Yes. Exposure to light will not damage the film once development is complete and the image is fixed. There is no cause for concern. You do have to agitate it. That's a relief. I couldn't say I followed all the technical details, but no cause for concern was all I need to hear. Sighing in relief, I held up the photograph so I could take a proper look. So, see anything odd in there, Manager Bud? There are people in them. The people in these photographs all look different from one another. If I had to pick one similarity between them all, though, they all look cold and different. Yeah, that's the city, alright. Ordinary folks where you'd see them anywhere. These aren't like the photographs we picked up at the studio earlier. These are the kind of photographs they use to make hand experiences? Ooh, what was that? The scenery around us began to ripple just now. I was about to ask Faust if she also felt a strange sensation, but it faded away soon enough. Perhaps it was nothing serious? Maybe it was just a spell of random vertigo? Is it even possible to get dizzy when I don't have when I've got a clock for a head? No. Marcel must have noticed that I was out of sorts for a moment because he seemed to pause on the purpose before answering my question. No, I thought you said docugraphers take these photos to put into canned experiences. Raw ingredients for canned experiences are handled exclusively by the Grand Magician Sisyphe. Magician? Sisyphe. There's no known method for external parties to access them. Sisyphe. What? Oh, I think I've heard of it. Canned experiences, right? They're in high demand in our districts too, but the only brand stamped on them is Grand Magician Sisyphe. Same name every time. I remember some of my classmates bragging about trying them whenever exam weeks came around. Never had one myself though. Can't really explain it, but something about them just feels kind of wrong. Not popular, huh? The unprocessed based content of canned experiences known as experience matter is applied to reprocessing factories where docugraphers fine-tune the experience's details. Photographs are primarily used for that purpose. They can fine-tune experiences. An easier example for understanding would be to consider why docugraphers take pictures of subjects such as buildings. A purchaser may wish to experience living in a luxurious building that they could never afford. Another may wish to vent out impulses of violence by experiencing the burning of an expensive property. Demand for a haute couture canned experiences is increasing by day. So that's why the photographs from earlier were all fancy buildings. Yes, Manager. Conversely, information concerning ordinary experiences that can be easily encountered in reality is in low demand. Then why photograph these residents at all? It reminds me of those what do they call those? Those hollow tapes in Cyberpunk? I only watched the anime, I never played the game, but like those like tuned experiences that they make so that people can upload them into their brains. Perhaps these were not images harvested for their commodity value, but pure photography in and of itself. Mayhap they had been captured for a desire to seize a vanishing instant through a lens. There are people who take photographs knowing that it would cost an exorbitant sum. I've seen some before. A staggering amount of money just to take a single photo. That is, if they could even manage to find a photographer who'd take the risk and help take the picture. I'm not so crass as to put a price on sentiment and nostalgia, but spending this much money on film rolls. What could have made this investment worth it? Brain dance, yeah. Treat. No treat. TREAT. I shall neko. No treat. I'd say maybe this isn't just a matter of sentiments or memories even. Leafing through the photographs, I quietly express my thoughts. Executive manager? I'm not exactly an authority on distortions, but I know they manifest through desires or emotions that become warped in bizarre ways. But everything the distortion has shown us thus far points back to S-Core. That is, the S-Core from the past only Kim and Ungdu would have seen and remembered. These photos, though, they're completely untouched by distortion. Doesn't that feel off? There must be a strong fixation at play here. Strong enough to slip past even a distortion. And if that obsession is something that refuses to let these memories be influenced, I think our next step should be looking for these people in these photos. These photographs are only undistorted, unaltered clues that we have. Dante says it would be advisable to locate the people shown in these photographs. Ooh, good idea. Team leader did say that we should accept an input from the LCB with open arms. Hey, Angdu, can you give me the office catalog? We'll probably need a commission office affiliate with VII Association. Let's look for one that can take the request right away. Can someone tell Ezra we're fine? I think I know where to find these people. Dante says one of the people shown in the photographs has already been found. What? When? How? Well, guess I'm just having a lucky day. I pulled out the radio from my waist and switched it on without answering Ezra's question. DWRC? DWRC. I think she says, do we regroup? Clock? One was especially hard to understand. Ryoshu. Ryo's with you, right? Can you put her on? Okay. So they can understand Dante's TikToking through the radio. Interesting. Ryodia, you there? What, Dante? What? Dante wants to talk. One sec. I kind of went overboard with the bread and pastries. My hands are kind of completely full here. Pastries? What kind? Just one of everything. Me? Can you grab extra brush and bucket for me too? I love the ones from that street. They're so good. Hold on, I gotta readjust the palm. I wanna just throw them on TF. They're packaged. Yoshu, you can't treat food like that, Kay. Bread bakers have feelings too, you know. How do you think the baker would feel if they knew someone was treating their precious babies like trash? This scabbard is rattling again for no reason. Anyway, Dante, can you give me a sec if you need me to fight? Just need to cram these into my pockets real quick. No, it's not a fight. Huh? Then what's this about? I looked closely at the words written on the wicker basket in the first photograph Mersault had brought me. Where's the bakery you're at? Hey, convenient. I need more Ezra X Rodion art. They're basically like, I know they're basically the same person, but like, I need more of it. I need tall, happy woman Yuri. Just saying. Bread Queen! That's a good name for a bakery. I know who you're looking for. The owner of the bakery was a woman holding the same wicker basket as the one in the photograph. She took one glance at the picture I held up for her and gave a quick nod. This man, he works at Cannery 17, right next. He's a regular. He used to drop by every morning to buy sandwiches to share with his coworkers. I haven't seen him around lately, though. And those coworkers, I assumed they were wearing the same uniform. Asking the question on my behalf, Oda showed the baker in their photograph. Look at this photograph. Probably? I was wearing one too. I guess it's the cannery uniform. This confirms our lead executive manager. A few inquiries at a cannery should bring us to the information we need. Yeah, you're right, but just that she didn't seem very concerned at all. A lot of people in the photos that weren't affected by distortion, right? I thought she'd be a close acquaintance. Allow me to verify, Executive Manager. You know the name of this regular you spoke of? His name? Am I supposed to know that? No, I wasn't expecting her to actually know his name. The apathy evident in her voice gave me pause. Took a photograph of you. Wouldn't it be reasonable to assume you're well acquainted with him? Oh, that. What's up with that look? Baker's demeanor changed when Otis pressed the point. She gave a strange, unsettling smile before pulling something from her apron pocket. Thin, round, can-like object. They gave me 5 of these canned experiences for free if I let them take my picture. They say throwing in the docograph of the building of my choice. He docographs buildings, right? I hear he even takes work trips to the nest every now and then. So, ask him to get me a docograph of his lovely mansion I saw by the nest suburbs. I know I'll never get to afford a beautiful place like that, but this way, I could at least experience what it's like. And gosh, that was everything I'd ever hoped for. I couldn't quite put my finger on it, but there was a distinct eeriness to that dreamy, blissful smile on the baker's face that sent a chill down my spine. Young Marcel, are these canned experiences truly possessed of such marvels to pluck all semblance of reason from one's continents? They maintain high demand across the city. District 14 is only one of several markets. Does that mean that those who indulge in canned experiences may experience venturing on an expedition to the Great Lake and bunging off the summit of the skyscraper yonder as though they remain to see where they are? It may, however. A magic can allowing one to pursue any dream the heart could conceive. Verily, I confess mine own soul is much tempted. It differs from pursuing a dream. The mass-produced canned experiences are made from base experience matter mixed with various modified information. The resulting product enables intense stimulation, though altered memory. Therefore, it is unlike the dream as expressed by Don Quixote. Ah, so they edit it. They edit it and add in some like fake realities. It really is like a brain dance from Cyberpunk. Holy shit. A piece of memory refined along with numerous processing stages from the cannery's production lines is now equivalent to a genuine experience, meaning the usage of experiences in her previous statement must also be amended. It's dystopian weed. It is, which is basically the same thing as the brain dances. They're both like, Instagram Reels to the extreme. Memory is altered for intense stimulation. That does sound quite shady. Marcel feels like a strong believer in touching grass or experiencing things for yourself. He is very worldly traveled. But he also seems to have like an issue with memories and judgments. So maybe he has like some kind of hold up with like a falsified memory, or maybe like he had an experience where he remembered something wrong that he regrets. How doth this cast a shade upon the boons gathered by the can? Adventures and tales are forsooth inclined toward a little grandeur. Yeah, Don Quixote is one to like exaggerate her tales though. It was because the memories provided by canned experiences are extremely vivid. Statistics have shown that user candidates interpret them as authentic experiences have become dependent on them. It is weed. It is like a psychedelic of sorts. A possible cause of the formation of dependence patterns is that canned experiences allow one to feel as if they have achieved a dream that is, in reality, impossible. Art thou implying that the users of are made content with devouring forged dreams stored in instant use cans? Worse still, The user may no longer strive to chase dreams in the waking world. What is sweeter and more splendidly a dream is embellished, or impossible, it will appear to be grasped by one's own hand. They become a cause for surrender instead of inciting one to march forth. Verily, doth it not annul the significance of dreaming itself, if the resultant dream rouseth not the spirit to gallop towards it? Whether that annuls its significance, I cannot know, but there is so well. So, how much will you be buying? By what? You came bargaining in with all these questions, and I was patient enough to answer them politely now. Don't you think you owe me a sale or two? You're not about to leave while buying a single loaf after crowding out my bakery and scaring off my customers, are you? And you still think it's pretty interesting that Yi Sang describes it like that, because in reality, confident Yi Sang Yi was on the canned experience Kool-Aid for a bit. Was he? Was Sang Yi on the canned experience? I thought Yi Sang just knows. I thought Yi Sang was just pulling a similarity between looking at the mirror and canned experience. Her case was on point, actually. With our whole group gathered around, the passerbys gave us a wide berth and hurried on, whispering amongst themselves. Nobody was about to come in and buy bread like that. Come on, lady. I practically cleared your shelf already, didn't I? You did. Where the hell are you keeping all that then? You even gotta ask. Of course I had some already. The rest is safely tucked in my coat pockets, and so we can all share later. So you already ate some. Let's buy a little more. It's true that we scared off our customers. Understood. And given that expenses made to facilitate this operation, the lack of prior budgeting should not pose a problem. I think, I don't think Sang Yi was on the canned experience. I think Yi Sang was saying that, like, watching dreams through, watching fake dreams is, like, similar to how he was looking at Sang Yi in the mirror. And how it left him in a paralysis where he did not feel like he could achieve the dream since it was so far out of reach. Oh, nice. Sesame rice bun for me, please. Where the fuck were you? It was Kim. You really did have a knack for making an entrance at the least expected moments. Hey, mister, where have you been this whole time? Wait. You crossing me all you like, but just give me a moment. Ezra paused, waiting for a puzzled anticipation. Only for Kim to take a sesame rice bun from the baker's hand and chomp into it. Alright, I'm ready. Frickin' wasted bread! Ah. Ezra's angry fist drove straight into Kim's solar plexus, folding him to the ground like a crumpled sack of potatoes as he rolled away. At this rate, the owner might start charging us for the whole bakery next. Roof and all. Best get away from here. Manager? Marcel approached me as we walked down the street, with Ezra and Kim still squabbling behind us. I was holding a roll of something brown and tightly coiled. I've completed development of the film as per your instruction. Oh, so this is the film in that canister you're shaking. Do I just unroll it? Hold it up against the sun, or other sources of light. As a reversal film, the images should be visible as if they were photographed. I had no idea what reversal film meant, but I did as he said and rolled the film. Okay, I can see it. Huh, that's pretty cool. Oh, is it showing? Can I see it too? Move it over a bit, let me have a look too. It was hard to make out the details because the images were too small. I could tell the strip was packed with almost identical pictures. Is this the same person in every shot? In the same pose in all of them? Huh. You're right. No, wait a second. See that arm there? Further along the strip you go, the lower it gets. Yeah, and the head looks like it's turning to the right. We're all squinting up at the tiny frames of the film when Sinclair suddenly flinched and went stiff as if he'd seen something he shouldn't have. A second later, all color drained out of his face. Sinclair? What's the matter? This reminds me of something I learned in school. Draw a picture in the corner of a stack of notes with thick books. The exact same spot on every page. Start with the arms down. Then you make one small change in each page, notice the arms higher and higher until they raise it all the way up. When you flip the pages fast enough, the drawings stop looking like separate images. The still figure starts moving. Class is called Introduction to Motion Pictures. I remember the teacher saying, the video footage we all watch were made the same way. They're saying that this is... it's a continuous sequence of still images. The arrangement of the frame suggests that this film strip is likely to constitute footage. A violation of end-course taboo. Oh, so you can take pictures all you want, but not videos. Weird, but interesting. Videos are illegal, but photos are fine. Well, it's a shame that my goat died and I never got around to making his encore live stream.
알고 침식도 양호. 아마도.
Oh crap. As soon as I registered Marcel's words, my hands reflexively threw the film onto the ground. Were you okay? I've just broken a taboo. My mind began to race rapidly back to our journey. Specifically a time when Don Quixote smashed that window cake and caused a wing to wipe out our team multiple times over. I felt faint. At least we had Virgilius with us then. It ended up not being a big deal in the end of the day since I could revive the sinners, but some nest taboos can get us in serious trouble. We're just carrying anything that has to do with them, can't they? I hurriedly turned towards the sinner, many of whom who looked every bit as troubled as I felt. Still, a few of them expressed a casual lack of concern, saying all the crazy things we've gone through so far. Miss Faust, what happened to all the Zeus gets the manager killed? Okay, so this is it, huh? Stop freaking out, guys. They're not dying. We'll be fine. And of course, not gonna kill you in the spot for just possessing a film roll. Really? Well, it might be a problem if the film roll does contain genuine recorded footage, but it's not like you guys have a hand in filming it, right? When Encore dudes get here to pick it up, just comply with their commands, thank them for their service, and nicely hand over to the authorities. Everything should be A-okay. There's a possibility that everything will not be okay. Huh? Because I've developed the contents of the film roll in that dark room. Oh. The court will take the lack of intentionality into consideration. However, it is very likely that my actions will be deemed as aiding the primary violator of the taboo. You have courts? I know they have like their own laws and everything, but I didn't realize that that wings have courts. I kind of just assumed that they just automatically pass judgment. Hi, Possum of Heaven. Welcome. How you doing? Maybe that's just Ancor's culture. You know what? You might be right. Or else how can Marcel be put on trial in his ego if there was no courts? T-Court does not have a court. They had an adjudicator, didn't they? That's technically a court. Really? But team leader said that Encore has their own regulatory standards regarding image quality, which they use to determine the severity of the taboo violation. If the footage, image quality, or frame rate is within regulations, Encore won't be sticking their fixtures on our butts right away. It could give us time to give our company some leverage to make a deal, however small it may be. Because what they're really sniffing around for is how close to reality the video is, or how close of an experience it provides to real life. So even if we're really, really unlucky and they come after us, it's gonna be fine as long as the footage is low fidelity. Probably. So what exactly does frame rate within regulations entail? It means that the interval between each frame shouldn't be like super brief. Think about photo slideshows. They only show you one image every few seconds, so it doesn't feel real or vivid, right? You can technically call them motion pictures, but there's no vividness required to violate their taboo. So yeah, this taboo exists mainly to keep a monopoly on experience sharing. Yeah, that makes sense. So I remember hearing a theory originally that the reason why the Encore fanatics hunt down prosthetics users is that saying that the Encore nails can't gather experience matter from prosthetics. I don't know how true that is. Or it could be that like the experience matter from prosthetics is not as vivid or as useful. Because, you know, they're missing a lot of their senses. Then let us analyze this film roll and see how vivid it really is. Marcel, I trust that you are knowledgeable on subjects concerning Encore, yes? Cooperate. Could this film roll be considered a violation of the taboo? Otis picked up the film from the ground and showed it to Marcel. That cannot be determined. Unless each frame is thoroughly analyzed and compared with adjacent, without waiting for Marcel to finish. Otis unrolled the film roll and raised it against the sky. The rest of you, get over here. We must analyze these frames. The film caster was labeled experiment, so I assume the culprit had created this as a test run of sorts. Experiment to see how close they could get to violating a taboo and testing the limits of the law. Maybe a mere collection of similar photographs that are pretending to be recorded footage. Sinners all gather around Otis to look up towards the unrolled film in unison. Here, the flower pot moves between frames, does it not? The docugrapher couldn't possibly have moved a pot while also holding down the shutter button. I don't see any difference. See here. The expression risen on the subject's visage appears rather stiff. Maybe they're just a gloomy sort. Perhaps. Then observe closer. The stiffness arises not from gloom, but rather the strain to maintain it. Oh, if that's the case, maybe the subject really is trying to fake an actual footage by moving very, very slowly. That's pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure if that's enough to conclude. Oops. That's a pretty convincing theory, but I'm not sure if it's enough to conclude that we're in the clear yet. That's when Bamboo had a Kim, who had been sprawled out on the ground ever since Ezra punched him, stepped into the conversation. Wait, he's been to the ground the entire time? Hold on. Let me hydrate a little bit. Let's see. Look at the shadow cast on the windowsill. Dallas noticeably shifts between each frame. Whoever made those knows their craft for sure, but I can't imagine Backstreet Thriller would have any way to mess with the sun's trajectory. In the likely scenario that it must be that the creator of this film roll deliberately made a subject move very slowly from frame to frame, creating a series of disconnected photos that, when played sequentially, would look like footage that violates the taboo. In which case, this film roll does not violate the Nest taboo, correct? That's highly probable. So he says, Executive Manager, we should be in the clear for now, at least in regards to aiding the violation of the Wings taboo. Phew. But if he was willing to go through so much trouble just to test Encore's patience, it's hard to believe that he would stop there. Based on all available evidence, Executive Manager, it seems reasonable to conclude that the inflection point in this case is a taboo violator on the run. What motive would they have to do that? Sure, working for a Wing subsidiary has nothing on being an actual Wing employee, but still pretty up there when it comes to careers available in the back streets. Work for a subsidiary long enough, and you might even get transferred to a factory job in the Nest. That gives you a pretty okay chance at a better life, so... Maybe he was just tired of living in that kind of life. Yeah, Ishmael was a Wing employee. She actually worked in the Wing. Everyone has one of those days, don't they? The sudden feeling that you could be doing much more than live the rest of your life in a 9 to 5 hell. The drive to do something that takes you away from the pressure of trying to make a life. Something about what Ishmael said must have tickled Bamboo Headache him, because he suddenly whipped around towards her and shook his head. Maybe, but how many of those people do you think are capable of throwing away everything that they built on a whim? What I've seen, maybe our culprit just likes to play with fire. Play with fire? Yeah, must have started doing exactly. Must have started by doing something that technically doesn't count as taboo, and inched on it until he brushed thrillingly close to one. One thrilling shot through his camera, and another with the next, until eventually he ended up recording actual footage. Cool. Then that leaves the question of what the heck was he trying to do with it? I've been trying to screen and use a projector for all this part of the back. Must been trying to screen it using a projector for all this part of the back streets to see. What? But wouldn't that make everyone here, even those who unknowingly came across the projection? Right on. It made those folks violate the taboo. But why would anyone? So would you care to explain how you know that, Mr. Breadbrain? Asked around on the opposite street. Apparently some guy's been going around asking the workshops if they could make him a projector. Seemed like most of them turned him down, but he also said he stopped showing up after a certain point. Fair to guess that he's got his hand on a projector somehow. Alas, is it not taboo of Encore to view recorded videos? Pray tell, why would any insane mind? Well, it ain't taboo if you only made a projector, in it? Backstreet blokes are down for anything as long as there's coin. Huh. How do we track this guy down? Multiple individuals in the same car as a pin frame team have just been identified in the vicinity. They're all carrying the same briefcase. Oh, well, ain't that convenient? Maybe we can play this like a festival or a convention and just tell people who look like they're involved with what we're looking for. That'll lead us right to wherever we need to go. Indeed. At architecture conventions, there will be those in formal plaid shirts and suspenders milling about. I always trust them to lead me to the convention venue. What? They have like architecture uniforms? Uh-huh. It was calling for those plaid shirt fellas to look around like they're scanning the area. Did they also go around checking people against photographs? Evidence advised for. They also radio each other. People like they're glaring at, huh? Perhaps you could also answer that series of queries yourself. Nope. This crowd sure doesn't look like they're gonna let us follow them.
보자, 싸울 준비는 끝났을까? 무엇을 그렇게 깝깝하게 쳐다만 보고 있고 그런다냐? 저런 놈들은 칼질 3번이면 다 썰거구나.
타겟 포착 1시 반.
차라리
I like the Encore outfits. They look kind of cool. Makes them look like kind of robot-y.
대체의 유효한 속성을 정확하게 간파했습니다. 제 예상만큼 관리자님의 능력이 우수하다는 것이 증명되는 것 같아 다행이군요.
Yeah, I know they have conventions because Don Quixote has already mentioned like cosplay and fixer merch and like waiting out in line for merch. I was just surprised that the architecture convention still has like uniformed people as well.
어떤 시간과 공간에 계시는 관리자님이 들을진 몰라도 그때를
When
위해서
using a skill of identical rank to the skill of class power -5.
아 이런 이것도
Huh.
녹음되고 있는지는 믿지
Interesting.
몰랐네요.
So don't use ones. Fuck. I only have ones.
사물의 배들.
Yeah, we'll probably get one as a generic unit. I actually don't know if the Encore fanatics are allowed into Encore nests. Because like
순간이 다 들어 베어내리라.
Albina went to Encore regularly to buy cans, so
베어냈어요.
or she went to Encore regularly to buy something, and Albina definitely has a ton of prosthetics, so I think they might keep the Encore fanatics outside of the
직원들이
nest.
긍정적인 환경에 놓여 있게 되었어요.
After all, it's pretty bad for business if
기다리겠습니다. 기계는
it's
언제나
pretty bad for business if you start killing your customers, you know.
된다면 사활을 건다.
대전
귀와 요격. 단수가 이어졌다네.
Oh, true. Maybe she went there for hunting. You might be right.
열을 끊는다.
I mean, if you wanted to get body parts, wouldn't you want to go to W Core's back streets instead? You know, the place where they practice cannibalism?
이 순간이 다 들어 베어내리라.
I mean, she has a digestive system.
엄마는 무기라면 뭐든 잘 다뤘어.
It's just in her.
그중 제일
It's just in her sword.
아니었고.
I mean, the Brotherhood of Steel mentioned that you could buy prosthetics that will allow you to eat and drink.
1시 방향.
I presume, like, you know,
수밖에.
you can. Albina's prosthetics look pretty expensive, so I'm guessing that she probably can eat and drink.
그렇지 않은 것.
그러지. 그것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지. 별로 어려울 것 같잖아.
이 순간이 다 들어.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe Fascia gets all the can't experience.
낮도 밤도 지.
We also don't know like how can't experience is and it's taken. Like, do you eat it? Do you drink it? Do you apply it directly to your forehead?
탁 식어버리구만. 싸울 생각도 없는 놈한테 그런 건 재미가
차단.
없는. 이리게 하기는 하겠다마는. 아, 아이, 놀라.
귀와 요격. 아무나 떨굴 수밖에.
차서
이 순간이 다 들어 베어내리라.
만 찰 줄 알았으면 빨리 좀 하지 그랬냐?
너만도 옅어지나. 피어나. 구, 언, 올. 하지만 슬슬 물리는군. 근처에 융수염이라는 군 거를 파는 곳 있나?
Here's my question. Could you use the canned experiences to learn stuff like instantly? Can you just skip a whole bunch of studying with canned experiences? Yes, actually? Wow, that sounds so convenient. I'd probably take it if that's the case. Maybe I'd probably like avoid the ones that would are too fantastical. You know, simply because that's like drugs. But I'd take the ones that let me learn.
꽃을 피워볼까요?
Okay, I think after this one, I'll probably have to call tonight. because I need to wake up early tomorrow to get ready for campaign.
보자, 싸울 준비는 끝났을까?
Wait,
그래서 그렇게 깝깝하게 쳐다만 보고 있고 그런다냐?
so they're willing to skip.
세 번이면 탔을거구만.
They're willing to skip a fight with a filler fight from earlier in the dark room, but they'll make us fight two encore guys on the streets back to back with no story.
뺀다면 사활을 건다.
I gave you a spot to grind for currency. It's called Mirror Dungeon. Or the final boss. It's usually the final boss is like the best way to grind for EXP. Or currency rather.
나부터 준비해야 할걸?
이 순간이 다하도록 되어내리라.
사실 이런 보모구실은 제가 아니라 세피라들의 역할이긴 하죠. 관리자님도 알다시피 저는 언제나 수십 명의 몫을 해내고 있으니까요.
Why does she have 3 points of paralyze on her? God damn. Okay.
뺀다면 사활을 건다.
3 points of paralyze and also the photograph debuff.
이 순간이
Yeah, the problem with win rate is that they sometimes just like, you know, all jump the stun guy. Which is funny that that's exactly what happens in the LCE event.
차라리 아무것도 남지 마라.
우와, 지금 완전 삼촌들이랑 고모대 같았어.
그러지. 그것은 그 짝에 갖다 써야지. 아, 별로 어려울 것도 없잖아.
Ah, they're so bright. You can't all jumping on the same guy. Also, these guys are fast enough that it actually is an issue. Whatever, Ezra will survive. Ezra's strong.
단수가 이어졌다면 아름다운 것, 그렇지 않은 것.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
지키긴 너도 누군가에게 맡겨졌겠지만
개체에게 일격을 가하는 데 성공했습니다. 샴페인을 가져오기엔 너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면
Okay,
모두의
sign
희생을
here.
기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠.
You press Rhodia rolls good. That's why she's the goat. That's why she's like super good. So since next Walpurgis not is gonna be the Library of Ruina, what do you think we're gonna get? Given that we have like so many of these distortion stuff, I would like to see
그 삶의 마침표를
Distorted Philip. Maybe one of the distortion gangs.
벗어났나?
혈이 낭자오.
뭐쇼? 대가리에 총 맞았냐? 왜 느자고 없이 씩 쪼개고 있을까?
God damn it. I'm at 45 SP. Why is Mersault winning that clash?
그려낸 대로.
I mean, last time we were in the library, we got
적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는
이
것보다
순간이 다
대단한 능력을
the thumb guy and also
저는 언제나
the Jong office girl.
한답니다.
What spots were those?
낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어냈군.
아, 아이, 놀랐네.
They were urban plague. Okay.
차서 손댈 뻔했잖아.
육자살을 배우는
만 찰줄 알았으면 빨리 좀
무파법을
하지.
이제 좀 이해해.
Do you think we'll get more general invitation IDs, or do you think we'll get like actual important story important IDs?
외부 강사로 뛰던 것이 생각나네. 한 놈만 잡아주기라 했더니 일자를 다 쓸어버렸던 놈이 좋지.
I know they won't, but I really wish that we got
정확하게.
were those guys the little weaver guys? More general IDs.
뼈를 깎는다.
낮도 밤도 지나 숨이 닿도록 베어냈군. 숨 막히도록 견뎌냈군.
Where's the list of receptions?
갈망했으며
요,
헤아릴 수
당연히
없이
그렇게
지금처럼
해야지.
Okay, here we go.
엄마와
그런
함께
것이니?
이곳저곳을 다니며
딱 보면 뭘
많은
써야
기억을
하는지 딱
쌓아줘.
느낌이 오잖아. 에?
언젠가
We've been on Urban Plague for a while, so maybe Urban Legend
멋진 곳에
or
나를
Urban Nightmare. I don't know. What if we got Wedge Office or ooh, what if we got the smoke guys? The smiling faces. I could see us getting smiling faces. All right. That is weird. We just have. Wait, is it 3 stages of just combat? Seriously? Okay, I think I'm done for now. Smiling faces is the guys who give you all those smoke cards. Let me pull them up on stream. These guys. They gave you access to smoke. You know, the greatest mechanic from Library of Ruina. Or you could give us crying children. You should get into Library of Ruina. Especially since you play a lot of Limbus company. I think you'd like it.
엄마 안 잔다.
Alright. Okay. So that has been the Limbus of companies. I'm looking forward to seeing more of Bamboo Haddock Kim. I want to see more of his stupid faces. It was an aura loss for sure, but I'm all about this funny Bamboo Haddock Kim. I'm all for it. Okay, let's find someone to upcoming stuff. Tomorrow will be Fabula Ultima campaign, so look forward to that. We'll be doing more Fabula Ultima with Rika and Winter and Lech and Winter and Vampy. Besides that, Sunday will be Resident Evil, and I will be doing anime night or anime day on my Discord, so tune into that if you're interested. Yeah. That's time to write. It's a little late. I'll send it over to Kaz. I'll send it over to Kaz, who's playing Uma. Okay. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate this. I thank you, Rika, for the raid. Thank you, Hector Setcher, for stopping by. Hugs and Bugs, and also Rose and Shine Neko Neko. Thank you for stopping in, and everyone else who came in with the raid and lurking, and Possum of Heaven, and also Armageddon Doll. Thank you for Armageddon Oli. Thank you for stopping by as well. I will see you all tomorrow for Fabula Ultima, or whenever. Have a good night, and bye.